So in this video, I'll be answering the question, is it possible for me to change from one school to another while in Canada? Let's say, for example, you're doing a 4-year bachelor's degree and you think, maybe I need to move to a 2 years program because maybe you want to graduate faster and maybe apply for work permit and some other things like that. So everybody have their own case, maybe sometimes, maybe because of funds, feel like, oh, instead of doing a 4-year program bachelor's, let me do a 2 years diploma program, right? Or you're already doing a 2 years diploma program and you think, okay, let me switch to a 1-year diploma program, maybe because of funds. Or you're already studying a course and the tuition is $30,000 for 1 year, and I mean for a 2 years program, so $30,000 per year, and you see a school that is paying $10,000, 10,000 Canadian dollars per year. Can I actually switch schools? Yes, you can actually switch school. It is legally allowed. If you go to the CIC website, just type the sentence changing DLI. So there are some conditions that you have to meet in order for you to be able to change your DLI. Now, if you are outside of Canada, you've already gotten admission, you've already gotten the visa, and you want to change before you come to Canada, you can't do that with your new study permit. You have to apply for a new study permit if you are outside of Canada. If you are changing your DLI, maybe for some reason, maybe the program closed or something like that, you have to apply for, if you are changing but if they still give you maybe admission in the same program, maybe at a later date, that should be fine. You just have to, if you defer your program and you already have your visa, you can send the new you need acceptance letter via web form. But if you want to change, let's say you're doing a 2 years program in civil engineering and you feel like, well, let me go to 1 year of postgraduate certificate program in project management. So exactly what you're going to do when you apply for admission, let's say you are in you want to start by September and you're finishing your previous program now. Let's say you are in the first year, or maybe the first semester, you just completed the first semester by the ending of April. Now you want to start the next program by September. If you've already gotten admission, that's fine. So you just have to, because you're still going to be enrolled, right? So you're going to send that new letter to IRCC via the web form to inform them that you are changing school, and whatever school you're changing to still have to be a designated learning institute, because if you don't do that, then it is not possible, right? So it is not an illegal thing to do, but you just have to be very strategic, and you don't want to give too much time. So you can't say, I'm coming in September, I'm supposed to start school in September. You know what? I'm going to just stay and hang around till next year, September. I'm just going to be working for that 1 year before I start school. No, that's not possible. The conditions on your study permit states that you have to be fully enrolled. If you have to be fully enrolled to be able to be eligible to work, for which means if you're starting school in September and you arrive in Canada in July, you are not eligible to start working till you enroll as a student. If you work those times, it's illegal, right? And it's even going to become difficult for you to get all your bank details and some other things without all your registrations, right? So most times, if you can get some people can get letter of enrollment, let's say even 1 week before school resume, at the time of resumption, and then when they get to Canada, you can get your bank all sorted out, then even though classes, as far as you are registered as a full-time student and classes are going to start on Tuesday, you can start working if you already finish everything and you get a job by Sunday. As far as you're registered, even though classes have not started, you are good. Okay, for your spouse, I mean, the spouse open work permit is dependent on your study permit. So technically, you should, for your study permit to be valid, the conditions of your study permit is you have to. A lot of time, people arrive in Canada like 1 month before school resumes, so that they can start doing some few things like accommodation and some other few things like that. So Think about the province where you're coming and see how this works. Let's say you are doing a PhD and you feel like this 4-year program is really killing me. I want to switch to a master's. If it's in the same school, then you don't even need, well, it's still good to notify RSCC, but if you are not changing DLI, it's not so much of a big problem, okay? Because it's the same school, but it's good to still notify them. So obviously, absolutely, you can switch from PhD to master's. You can switch from master's to diploma. You can switch from diplomas to bachelor's. You can switch from you can't switch from bachelor's to master's because you have to finish the bachelor's for you to be eligible for the master. So these are some of the calculations that you should do. If you've been enjoying this video so far, why don't you consider hitting that like button and also subscribe if you haven't, so that whenever new videos are released, you will be the first person to get notified. Now, what can I move? Another question is, if I'm in Newfoundland for my master's, can I move to New Brunswick for a diploma program? Absolutely. It doesn't concern ROCC that you are changing cities or province. What matters to them is that you're changing DLI. So that DLI is what you're going, the designated learning institution number. That is what you're going to now send the new admission letter to them. They don't care, okay? As far as it affecting your PRO, not a problem at all. If you're already registered in this program and you switch to another program, it's not a problem with you applying for PR. That's why you have to notify RSCC, so that by the time you're applying for your PRO, these guys, when you apply for your PR, they're going to look at everything, right from when you entered Canada in terms of some of the documents you have submitted for admission and some other things. They're going to verify that to make sure that it's actually what you studied. But if you send them messages to tell them that, oh, I switched school, then you're not going to be having a problem. So do your best to make sure you notify them on time so that they will be aware. In terms of tuition, if I switch and change DLI, are they going to refund my tuition? It depends, okay? It depends. Let's say there is a time for you to get some kind of tuition refund, as the case may be. If let's say you just started school now, after one month, maybe let's say 2 weeks, feel like you want to withdraw and move to another DLI. Most times, if you've already paid tuition, if it's past a certain ways, you can no longer get a refund, okay? What a lot of people do that is actually more convenient for them is, maybe if you're planning to go to a new school by January, you finish this particular semester, and then, because you want to still maintain your status. Because when you are in the first week and you withdraw, then you are no longer eligible to even be working part-time, because you've already withdrawn your study permit, you've withdrawn your studentship, is if there's any word from that. You're no longer a student, so technically you're not registered. Technically you're no longer eligible to work. So what a lot of people do is finish that one semester, apply, and then go start the other semester, right? If you are on a summer holiday and not taking classes, and you are still registered in one DLI, that's fine. You can keep working, maybe during summer when you're not taking classes, if you want to resume the next one, okay? One of the things that there's a rule, I think, about, you shouldn't be out of status for more than 100 and, I think, 100, is it 150? I think, example, if you arrive in January and you decide to quit your school, is there anyone like quit your school, or you decide to withdraw, and you say, okay, I want to go start another school in September. You can't do that. You can't say, because when you withdraw January, from that January to September, that's about close to 8 months. So what are you going to be doing in those 8 months? If you withdraw, you can't be working. Okay, so even though you are still registered in the school, then you can still be working, and then you apply for another school. So these are not manipulations. These are something that is available on the CIC website, and you can do it legally. So this is not me trying to do something to get a backdoor. No, it's something that is possible, to save cost. That may be reason masters is more expensive, switch to a 1-year program. But you have to also think about the post-graduation work permit eligibility. If you do a 1-year program, it's 1 year. 2 years program is 3 years. So think about that, and then I wish you all the very best if you're planning to change DLI. So be very strategic about it. anything you do in Canada, make sure you are not breaking any law. Read through the CRC website for everything before making any choice, any decision on anything. So you don't want to run into trouble. There is something like I did not know. Okay, they don't have that language in their dictionary. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. If you have any specific question that I've not answered in this video, leave it in the comment section. I'll try to address it. And then once again, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe and like this video. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.